We don't have any headlines for you today or even any team news, but we do have a very special guest. Stay tuned.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Cardinals Connection.
Palmer extending the play.
Nobody there.
Crosses the field. Larry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald is going to take it into Green Bay territory. Larry Fitzgerald inside the 30, the 20.
If he
Larry
scores, it's
Fitzgerald
over.
is insane to the 4-yard line. One of the greatest postseason performers ever.
The sickest Arizona Cardinals podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome back to the sickest Arizona Cardinals podcast, Cardinals Connection, the show where Bird Gang hearts beat loud and proud. I'm your host, Kelly Singh, and as always, I'm joined by my co-pilot in fandom, James, also known as MHJ Era _.
What's up, Bird Gang? You're not going to want to miss this one.
You are not, because today's episode is a real treat. We are joined by one of the greatest wide receivers in Cardinals history, and that's Mr. Frank Sanders. And if you watched the Cardinals in the late 90s, early 2000s, you know that this man was the guy. Clutch catches, big yardage, leadership. Frank just brought it all, James.
Yeah, he helped take us to the playoffs in 1998, made Jake Plummer look like a rock star, and carved out a legacy that still resonates with fans to this day.
We're going to dive into what it was like to be in that iconic era. We're going to hear about Frank's thoughts on today's current Cardinals roster, and maybe he'll drop a few names from his playing days.
Well, let's jump in. Please welcome the one and only Frank Sanders.
Okay,
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Kelly, it's good to see you once again. It's been a couple of years, but what's beautiful about it is that, sometimes they always say, man, you don't always remember what people do for you, but you do remember how they make you feel. And that day we met each other at the Taste of the NFL was a good feeling. And I was willing to do, your podcast then, but unfortunately, life had a way of making some curveballs. And so, but I'm glad to be on the show with you guys and James as well. My pleasure. I'm looking forward to meeting you and having a good time on the show.
Great to meet you. It's an honor. It's really an honor to see you, sir.
Frank, if you are not following James, I know you're not on social media a lot, but James, his handle is at MHJ era _ and he is on it. Like, he's sharing facts. He's getting into it with all his Seahawks haters, and he's a great follow. I approached him like, you have to do this show with me. We will have so much fun.
Yeah, that's a good call. I look forward to it, brother. I will follow you, man, after the show. I did take a peek at you guys earlier in the week, and I did kind of take a peek at some stuff. But I am looking forward to following you. I'm not a social media guy. I don't know why. I've never been one to just jump into it. I don't know why, man. I didn't jump into it like some of the guys do. I like privacy, man, and sometimes that privacy comes at a cost when you have to, decide if you're going to be open and open to the public in a very vulnerable way about everything. I'm open to a point, but there's a part of it that I got to be like, I still like my privacy.
For sure. I get it too.
You're very private, James.
I keep it strictly Cardinals, Arizona sports.
Well, this is a great segue into my first question, which would be, you were part of one of the most memorable eras in Cardinals history. So what does it mean today to you to know that fans are still like, oh my gosh, Frank Sanders, like, we are still way into you, Frank. How does that make you feel?
I look at the NFL from a personal standpoint. It's always a blessing to be part of the NFL. Number one, we saw the value of what it meant to Shedeur Sanders just to get drafted, and that family, along with the other guys that was waiting and that thought they was going to get picked early and they did not. To be part of the NFL fabric and to be living out your dream is always a special thing. Like I always say, people say, "How was NFL?" I say, I got a chance to be in the sunlight just a little bit, and I'm happy about that. The reality of it is that when you look at what we was able to create here with the Cardinals and the memories that happened during that 1998 season was special. The best memory of that 1998 season was not just beating Dallas, but it was the moment when we realized we got into the playoffs. And on that next Monday, James, Mr. Bidwell came into the meeting, and we had a morning meeting. He came into the meeting and he brought the family in, and he wanted to say thank you. It had been 50 years since the Cardinals had made it to the playoffs. And so, but to watch him tear up and what it meant to him and how much he valued that moment, that's the moment I cherish more than anything about being with the Arizona Cardinals, is watching, the owner realize the significance of what just happened. It took 50 years, man. Like that's something where he's been waiting for that. And we was finally able to accomplish that and get into the playoffs. All the things that happen with the fans it's special because, we were we were trying to get it right for so long, and then we finally got it right, and that in itself is a special moment. And I'm appreciative. I'm grateful that to still be remembered as one of the best wide receivers. But the Cardinals have had so many great wide receivers. Like I said, I'm blessed to be part of that fabric.
You're still one of the top most productive wide receivers in Cardinals history. So that's something for sure.
You got to take advantage of the moment you get, right? Like, I got here with Dave Craig, Boomer Esiason for like maybe 5 or 6 games. I got here with Kent Graham, John Buck, Stoney Case was drafted when I got drafted with the Cardinals. And then we just had a plethora of other guys come through, and then we had Jake. And we finally figured something out for a short window of time. Me and Rob Moore, Larry Centers, and we had players, but it's just sometimes it takes a little while for a team to figure it out, and we finally did.
That sounds reminiscent of something right now.
No, you're right.
It's been 10 years last time we made it to the playoffs, and right now the vibes are definitely good, and I'm just excited to see what can happen this season for sure.
It should. I mean, that's the part about it, right? Like everybody, there was so much transition with the Cardinals, and everything was a demand. It wasn't a demand. Hey, we need a new head coach. We need to get rid of Cliff Kingsbury. He's not the guy. And we need to get rid of our general manager. He's not developing the offensive line. And everything that we asked for as a fan base with the Arizona Cardinals is Michael Bidwell went out and gave it to us. Like he really did. He gave you a new head coach. He gave you a new defense coordinator, a new offense coordinator. Monty's your general manager. Monty's brought in more players in the last 3 years he's been here than any time I've ever seen in the Cardinals history. I mean, just look at the roster. The roster goes from guys from good teams, and it's not just through the draft. It's through free agency and not burning a lot of money. This offseason was the first year that you really saw them put some money on the table and went out and got guys. They built the defense up, but offensively, I mean, we got some young guys and some young talent. I think Coach Greg, as the offense coordinator, feels like he's got what he needs, and the idea is to go out and make it work with Kyler. This is a good time for Kyler. He's in his 7th year. He has a chance to become the guy he really wants to be. He's coming into a season healthy. He's got 2 stud receivers. He's got I'm not even going to leave out Gregory, because Greg at the end of the season, James, he went off like he was a Pro Bowl receiver the last 2 games of the season, right? So then you look at our tight end. Our tight end, goes out and stabs 1,000 yards in his 2nd year. That's electrifying on what you can be as an offense. And so we're there offensively. I love our coaches. And so hopefully these guys can just come out and put it together.
James, I know you are sitting on some hot questions. Why don't you go ahead?
So I know, Mr. Frank, you're a former NFL player, and a lot of people don't know what's going on behind the scenes of, the NFL. So my first question for you is pretty much, what was your draft phone call like, and the process, like your first month process of finally making it into the NFL? Like, what was the change? And also into your first year as well.
My draft phone call was Paul Jensen was the head of community relations with the Arizona Cardinals at that time. And Paul gave the phone over to Dave Atkins. Dave Atkins was the offense coordinator. I met Dave Atkins at the Senior Bowl, and he told me, he said, Frank, he said, I'm Dave Atkins. I'm the offense coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals. That guy back there behind the pole likes you. And it was Buddy Ryan at the Senior Bowl practice, and he was standing back there, on the pole leaning and with his glass on, his hat on, and he just said, that guy likes you. So just keep doing what you're doing. It's a good chance you're going to draft. And I said, okay, cool, no problem. I didn't know where Arizona was. I'm a Fort Lauderdale, Florida kid. I only know I know East Coast more than I know West Coast. And if you weren't San Francisco 49ers, I really didn't know you that much either, because I was I was a Joe Montana fan for a long time. But that phone call, man, was special. It was great to have. And when the phone call happened, James, I had a guy from Dallas that was in the house. So the Cardinals had the 46 pick and 46 pick, and the Dallas Cowboys had the 45th pick. And so I had a guy from Dallas in my house. The phone call went like this here. Hey, Frank, this is Dave Atkins from Arizona Cardinals. We're getting ready to draft you. I said, okay. He says, are you excited about that? I said, absolutely, I am. At this time, we don't have ESPN 2, 3, or Deportes. It's just ESPN 1, and you're only getting, you're getting ticker tape across the screen if you're not if you're not at the actual event. So, phone call was amazing. Prior to the phone call, James, to be honest, and Kelly, I walked in the hall and I said, God, I don't care where you send me. Just send me someplace warm and a team that needs me. And that couldn't have been the best. There was no better phone call I could have got from any NFL team. The Arizona Cardinals was the hottest team in the NFL. You can play at 100 and some degrees. And then Buddy Ryan had just got rid of his starting 3 receivers. And so when you look at it from that perspective, I get to come in and be a player, or I get to come in and try to win a job. I can't say that I'm just going to be automatically giving the job, but I got to come in and win it. They traded their first round pick for Rob Moore, and then the second round pick, they drafted me with it. The guy from Dallas, I told him, I said, hey, Arizona's on the phone. If you want to get me, Dallas, you need to make a phone call. The guy called the war room to Jimmy, not Jimmy, but to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and they took Sherman Williams out of the University of Alabama, running back. And Sherman lasted a year and a half, and I lasted 9.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Great career.
What else you got, James? Let's go. Keep it rolling.
All right. Another thing I wanted to ask was definitely, you see a team that needed you, like you said, a wide receiver last year in 2023, or 2 years ago. We drafted Marvin Harrison Jr., and that's a person that we needed. Do you see any similarities in his game that reflects on you?
The reflection between me and Marvin Harrison would be the fact that we're both big body receivers. We're able to get in and out of cuts. We can run any route that we want to versus any defensive back. We're very smart at our craft, very talented at our craft. He came in like a rookie like I did. Our rookie stats are pretty much about the same. Despite maybe a couple of games and maybe a couple of touchdowns. The similarity is that we're big bodies and we can make a lot of plays no matter where we are. In the slot, from the X position, he can move to Z. He's talented across the board. He's fast, he's big, he's rangy, and he has no problem making the tough catch. That's my thing. Like, you look at my career in college to the pros, third down receptions were, my thing. And then in college, the big play moments were never too big for me. And I just see that out of him. The reality is that he just has to get used to what it feels like to be in the NFL, where defenses specifically try to target you and take you out of the game plan. When you're at Ohio State, can't do that. They got 4 or 5 stud receivers that are 5-star receivers running 4.3s, 4.2s, some of them, and they're just as talented. They got 9 potential, first-round draft picks or draft picks, and just on offense at Ohio State. So you don't get the same kind of work you get when you come into the NFL. I do like what I see out of him. I think he's going to get better. But I will add this little difference, James, and this is it, Kelly. I came in with Rob Moore. Like, I came in with a veteran receiver already, and I had Larry Sanders in the backfield. I had guys that defenses had to pay attention to outside of trying to isolate me like they had to do against Marvin. They double-teamed Marvin 70% of the season, and it kind of offsets, 2 catches, 3 catches, 1 catch, 4 catch games. Then he catches a game where he'll get 5 catches for 100, 110 yards, something like that. But that's how it works in the NFL, because you got to come to work. And I think the difference in that is that me having Rob Moore and Larry Sanders, they made it where I was one-on-one a lot, and I'm not going to pat myself, but I was pretty good at what I could do. And me and the quarterback had a good relationship my rookie year.
You did. That was actually one of my questions. You had such great chemistry with Jake Plummer. Were you friends off the field as well, or was it just strictly like practice and games and
I mean, we were cool. Me and Jake, our friendship off the field was cool, but I mean, Jake was a rookie. I was probably like 2 years in. And I think the idea of our relationship was primarily basically on the field and in the locker rooms. We did camaraderie type of stuff where guys came around and we got together, but it wasn't like, he's ASU, I'm Auburn, I'm a wide receiver, he's a quarterback. Jake had his own situations his first couple of years and got into the NFL, so he just kind of became a hermit and wanted to learn. The difference with Jake is also Jake tried to immerse himself in the offense finally. Like his time in college was coordinator after coordinator, new coordinator after coordinator. Mm-hmm. And so he never really had the chance just to develop primarily with one offense coordinator. And even the same thing happened to him when he got here. We went through, he went through 2 head coaches here with the Arizona Cardinals and probably 4 offense coordinators. I went through 3 head coaches and about 12 quarterbacks. And that's just the rotation of it while you're trying to figure it out. But our chemistry came from practice. And what we did in practice and how hard we worked in practice to try to overcome, the history of what we had been producing. Offensively, if you guys go back and look at the history of the Cardinals, Jim Hart, Neil Lomax, they had great receivers and they threw the heck out of the ball. And it was no difference between me, Jake, and Rob Moore.
That's great. I mean, do you see Kyler similarly trying to kind of lose some of the stigma that follows him and create more of a leadership role and becoming more of a mentor to his players? Do you see that happening amongst the team?
I see the growth in Kyler Murray from this. This is my realist perspective. I see Kyler's growth. Kyler has been the best athlete on the football field in every level he's been on.
Yeah.
From little league to high school to college and in the pros. He's been one of the fastest players on the field. He don't have all the stature, but he can do it all. He can run, he can throw, he can pass, kick. He can do it all. But the idea of him having to realize, I think the beauty of what I see out of Kyler more than anything, and I'm hoping this, James, to be the number one thing, is the growth of realizing this ain't college, bro. You don't have to do it by yourself. Like, they pay guys real money to do it. And you just gotta do your part, which is get the ball to them and let them make it happen. Kyler has over 3,000 yards rushing. He's number 5 in every statistical category. He's not number 5, but he's in the top 5 in every statistical category. And, in Cardinals history as a quarterback, and only's got 7 years. And so that in itself says he's been productive, but the idea of overcoming the hump of getting the big wins is what would be the transition we see from Kyler Murray.
We're definitely looking forward to Kyler. I feel the biggest thing that we've seen with Kyler just in the Jonathan Gannon era is his leadership ability is definitely, you can see it change where he's taking the blame more. He's able to, believe in his guys, trust in his guys, especially during the offseason. They're all hanging out and just trying to get better. So we're definitely excited to see what Kyler Murray can do. And
you have to look at it. Kyler's growth has come from, we gave Kyler a rookie head coach.
We did.
We gave him a rookie head coach that knew nothing but college football. I'm not saying that Cliff Kingsbury didn't come up with, some good plays every now and then during the game or make spectacular calls every now and then during the plays in the timeline he was here. He needed growth. But you can't have both of them trying to grow at the same time while trying to figure this thing out when you have guys with tenure and time who has figured out how to try to debunk some of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the game. And so Kyler comes in and he's the number one guy, and Cliff Kingsbury said, hey, whatever you did in college, do it here and be amazing. I'm going to call a play, you make it work, and we went from there. Kyler was amazing his rookie of the year, Pro Bowl status. All those things on the table for him. But now you watch on the rich Coach Gannon, you can see him really just say, man, hey, you don't have to do it by yourself. He imposes his desires on the team as a whole, which we can see. And this is Coach Gannon. And then you can see everybody else take that mantra and mindset and want to go out and play full quarters of football to try to get that W.
We often talk about with things that we see like, oh, I wish they would have run this play, or I wish they would have done this or that. And I say, but what do I know? I'm not a coach. I'm not a player. I'm just a fan. So could you give us some insight on how things might play out where we have Marvin Harrison Jr. as a receiver? We have very talented Michael Wilson. We've still got Greg Dortch, who seems to be just like a utility knife or something. He's like out there doing it. How does that all go down from your side of the field?
Can I also add something? Like,
Yes,
to add
please.
on to Kelly's thing. Like, what would be like a weekly game plan, like scenario for you?
So typically, if we're starting off, this is the first week of the season. We're getting ready to go against the team, and our mindset will be, let's just say we're playing the Chiefs, and we know that, points matter right now because they have the ability to score a lot of points. They defensively have also a lot of the ability to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So our mindset will be, we have to be solid and sound in every area. We can't beat ourselves mentally or emotionally, meaning emotional. We can't, if they get up 21 points, means nothing. The game ain't over. We still got to keep playing, right? Until the last whistle blows. And so our mindset, game plan, we'll put our game plan together. And my mindset would be, as a receiver, I want to look at the defensive backs and find out what they've done. Typically, the normal protocol is that we studied the film of the last 3 games that our opponent had played. That'd be maybe the last preseason games that they played or what they did last year. Of course, the scouting department, all they do in the offseason right now is break down the cuts and the clips, and they try to figure out what plays offensively that we have will go against our defense primarily. Mm-hmm. And then we find ways to try to implement that thing that works best for us. 90-80% of the NFL, outside of just the creative geniusness of some of the coaches, is copycat. And so basically, if last week before we saw Minnesota go out and Justin Jefferson 8, and all he ran was shallow crosses, and they ran, combination routes where one guy would go corner route, other guy would go high post, or they would go, they would do a vortex like this here, a post corner and then a corner. And we saw that they ate. That's basically what we would do. It would take Marvin, we'll put Marvin, and we'll put Michael basically in the same position, and we'll run what works, right? We won't really change much outside of that. And the mindset from individually is you study technique, you find out what's your opponent's weakness, what they have a tendency to go for. If it's a press man cornerback, does he take the first move or does he take the second move? Or does he reach his hands out really quick? And then, while we're practicing, our scout team should be giving us a very good look. If they're doing their part, then our reality would be that, what we see on Sunday would be exactly what we're supposed to see on what we see during the week is what we see on Sunday. Then it makes it that much easier. Because what happens when you come to the line of scrimmage and the play you called is for a cover 2 and you see a cover 2, you just kind of smile on the inside because you know what's about to happen. Like, you just know, like, if I come up and I give him the move, he took the move like I thought he was. And then, James, I come inside and the ball's like right here on the inside because the quarterback saw the same thing. Then that's how, when you see timing, you see execution, and then you see the rhythm of an offensive coordinator, because he knows that they're following the game plan of what we studied. And so that becomes a really successful moment. And I think that's the part of the game plan that's behind the scenes that happen. And then you guys begin to see, the rotation. Kelly, you're not wrong at what you said earlier, which pertains to the fact that, it's not what you don't know, it's what you know because you've seen repetition. If you've seen on 3rd down, we tend to run around and hand a draw off to James Conner when it's 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 12. Why are we running a draw? We got plays for that. We got plays for 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18. We got plays for 4th and 20. We got Hail Mary plays. You're smart enough to know that, well, why are we running a draw play? Like, that's just like, it's safe, but it's predictable.
Right.
And we don't want predictability. And I think sometimes, when we watched the Cardinals last year, James, you can watch that, teams had a formula for Kyler Murray. And the idea was if you get into a wide 9 technique, which is 2 steps outside the tackle or the tight end, 2 steps outside the tackle or the tight end on the other side of the football field, your defensive end will just pinch down and try to keep Kyle in the pocket. Well, we got to figure that out this year.
Yeah.
And once we figure that out, I think that would change the narrative, and it'll really make us more diversified and more explosive.
That's kind of my thought process. I'm so glad you said that because I'm thinking about how you talked about double teaming and Marvin Harrison Jr. He just didn't be able to be open that often last season. Is that because we just weren't utilizing our other receivers as much, or do you see improvement in that? I don't know if that question makes sense, but I'm talking as a fan, like. What's happening out there?
Now, it makes sense, but the difference is this here. Defenses got one job, and that's to find your weaknesses or to take away your strengths. Mm-hmm. And if I take away your strengths, then you have a weakness, we're going to expose that. And so that's literally what happens. We got to have Mike Wilson catch more balls.
Yes.
That's what you need. So then they'll balance their defense out, and they can't double team Marvin. You know what I'm saying? So that, and some defensive coordinators are willing to die by the sword of double teaming Marvin and then pinching down on Kyler with never having the intent to attack him. So it's learning the game plan and finding out what defenses are trying to do to stop you from being successful. And sometimes that is just taking away your weapons. You guys remember in the past watching football when Dez Bryant be out there yelling and cussing, or you'd have Terrell Owens like, throw me the damn ball. Well, you're double covered, stupid.
Yeah.
You're going to make your 1.6 that week, but you're double coverage. So it's not on you no more. Run your routes really hard, keep them away from everybody else, but everybody else has to win. Mm-hmm. So we need Gregory Dortch to go out and make some more plays. We need James Conner to go out and make plays. We need other guys to go out and make plays to balance it out, to cause the defense to be more respectful. Some teams are willing to down the sword of their game plan, and sometimes it just works when you have your weaknesses and no one can overcome that setback of going out and being the second guy to go out and make plays.
Right. I mean, I just have this soft spot for some reason for Michael Wilson. I got to meet with him at a charity event. He's like the same age as my daughters, it's like.
I mean, he's handsome, he's tall,
he is handsome,
he's good
but
looking.
it was like.
They got that Drake effect. It don't matter. It don't matter.
It's too easy.
It just feels like, okay, I'm flushing. It just feels like he can catch everything. Like throw him the ball, he's gonna catch it. But I know James is big on Marvin Harrison, so.
Michael Wilson has all the potential. He does. He just has to seize the moment. Both of these guys do, and it's a good opportunity for both of them because they're both young. But the reality of it is that you have to seize the moment. Every ball, every chance you get, you cannot drop the ball. You cannot be fickle. You got to go out and make plays because the Cardinals, the fans, the players are depending on it, and that's all you got.
True.
Yeah, great thing I've seen about Michael Wilson is watching his tape. It's amazing. Like he can get out cuts, he can make plays, he can catch the ball. But the biggest thing with him is his intangibles. I think, especially with having Marvin Harrison Jr. and you've heard all the, the hoopla about him working out so hard and that work ethic. I feel that's gonna fall on the wide receiver room as well, which is gonna make Michael Wilson a much better player in general. So I'm excited to see what Michael Wilson can do next year. I feel like he's going to be like one of our most underrated X factor. We need him to produce, contribute, and if we can do that, that opens up the offense exponentially for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I totally agree with you. He is. I like him. I like our receivers. I like what they have. They're tall, they're long, they're rangy. They can run routes. They can get off the press. They can do everything. The idea is maximizing these guys, man, and putting them in positions. Coach Pruitt did something last year that was different, right? What did he start doing? He started putting Marvin in motion. Mm-hmm. He started putting Marvin in the slot, and that was something that we saw, the failure of Cliff Kingsbury, was that he only had DeAndre Hopkins on the left side. He had A.J. Green on the right-hand side, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like that was literally the offense. AJ on the right, DeAndre Hopkins on the left. And DeAndre Hopkins became a better wide receiver for the Cardinals when they started moving him around. But they didn't move AJ with him. They didn't start moving guys around. So like you can't sit stagnant in the NFL and expect to be great. They had to start moving DJ Metcalf around, had to put him in the slot a little bit to kind of give him some spacing, to kind of offset him just a one way where you can kind of pinch him to the sideline. So when you look at the Cardinals and watch what Greg Pruitt is going to do this year, he's the conduit to make everything work because he has to put guys in spaces where they offset what defenses are just trying to basically do to them. And then you can give your guys different looks or different opportunities. And here's the only drawback to that is how smart and how well are our guys able to adjust to what they see and while it's happening in real time. If you're a receiver normally sitting on the right side of the football field, Kelly, this is just tactical and technique type stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you're just sitting on the right side of the football field and you got a zone coverage, then that's what you know, that's fine. But if they put you in motion, zoom motion, they got zoom, zip, zing, zang, all those motions that they can call to put you in different sides of the football field, then how well do you adjust when you get there? Can you see the defensive coverage change? Did it go from man when you ran across the field? Or did everybody just sit stagnant in zone? And what routes do you run? Like, guys have to be intelligent. Like, that's the part that I'm looking forward to seeing out of our guys. Like, I believe that they are, and I believe that they're capable of being, like, this has a chance to be the Larry Fitzgerald once again, as well as the Anquan Bolin tag team with Andre Roberts, and they have the ability to do that. You just got to get it going where they find that rhythm where they can dominate defenses in the NFL. And that's not an easy task.
I would like to add, especially with emphasizing on the motion part, if you look at the best receivers in the league right now, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, they're always in motion. They're always somewhere else on the field, making moves, playing in the slot, playing outside. Their coaches are building – I wouldn't say building the offense around them, but that's an emphasis for them to get them the ball. And I feel for the first half of when the Cardinals were playing, there wasn't that much motion. There, Marv was on the outside, Marv was running posts, and everybody can see it. We watched the games, and a lot of people were definitely complaining about, like, why is all these other teams running motion, but we have Marv on the outside. But I feel like after like week 10, then you started seeing more movement, and he started actually getting more production that way. But I feel right out the gate, there has to be, you have to put your best player in the best position to make a play.
Your observation is correct. You're absolutely correct. I'm sitting in the stands saying the same thing, but your observation is correct. So Kelly, like a lot of the people you guys teach on your podcast and who you share, the things that they get to learn, like you're talking to me, but I'm sharing that you see exactly what I see. I mean, you're not missing anything. The part that becomes the question mark and that you guys can't answer, and no one on the football field or none of the coaches is going to come up and say it, is that my right guard's just not smart enough to recognize when we go in motion and they shift down, that he still has that same guy to his left, not the guy to his right. That's literally how it happens. Or the running back is not James Conner in the backfield. So if we motion people, then they switch up, and then the linebacker or the safety comes down and he walks on the line. Now we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4. And he's still thinking about, I got 1 over here. And so sometimes that's the brain farts that happen in the game that leaves your quarterback exposed. It leaves your line exposed. It leaves your offensive coordinator exposed. And it just looks like, what are they doing? And sometimes those are the things of why they sit stagnant sometimes. It's because the one-on-ones that are happening, not everybody can handle it the same way, because like there's some dogs on the other side, bro. Like they playing, and they playing with bad intentions. And so if they find your weakness, they're going to exploit it.
For sure.
For sure. We were talking a little bit about underrated players. Who is your most underrated teammate that you've ever played with, Frank?
Underrated?
Just somebody that you thought just had talent, was good, and they just didn't get their flowers.
They just need more love,
I mean, Larry Sanders, without a doubt. I mean, Larry Sanders got local love.
Yeah.
But Larry, like, again, you have to win in the NFL a lot of times to kind of get the flowers you're supposed to get, because that way it puts you in a position where you're on primetime television. We were never really on primetime television.
Right.
Local television was blocked out during that timeline for whatever purposes. Like, the Cardinals literally just signed back another contract with AZ Family Channel 3, right? So that's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
and a blessing that the Valley gets the Cardinals now every Sunday. Prior to that, it wasn't that. And so, but Larry Sanders, without a doubt, one of the best fullback running backs in the NFL, led the league in receiving catches for a fullback or a running back and out of the backfield. Just an engine of a person. Engine never cut off. I mean, just could do everything: block, run the ball as a running back, could catch the ball out of the backfield. Had some of the best hands that I get, without a doubt, probably the best hands on the offense. And when I was there, it was either me. It wasn't me. It was Larry Sanders. It was Rob Moore, Anthony Edwards, then me. That's how, and we can keep going from there. And that's not being humble. That's just knowing the guys that we played with and how well they can catch the ball. Larry Sanders deserves his flowers. Everyone knows Larry Sanders. Everybody would be like, Larry, 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 until, long hair Larry showed up, right? Long hair Larry showed up. Then it was like a whole nother chant for that Larry. But, but LC number 37 is the man, without a doubt, that didn't get all his flowers. He probably should be in the Hall of Fame with his stats just on paper. He's definitely one of the top 100 football players in Cardinals history. And I mean, but just overall, from an NFL perspective, I don't think Larry Sanders got all his flowers he deserved.
I love that.
So I had one more question for you, Frank. I wanted to ask, so what would you tell, I would say, like, if you're year 5, what would you tell your rookie self about the NFL? Like, what advice would you give your rookie self, either now or while you were playing during your career, I would say?
My rookie self, honestly, man, I lived the best life my rookie year. I really did. Like, I mean, I couldn't have done anything better. I couldn't have done anything more than I did with the opportunities that I had as a receiver. I mean, we got to look at the fact that our quarterback was the number 1 sack quarterback in the league at that time, and that was Dave Craig on year number 15, 16 in the NFL. I still won rookie wide receiver of the year that year as a rookie. I was the 4th receiver taken in the draft. J.J. Stokes, Michael Westbrook, and Joey Galloway. All those guys went before me, but they didn't end up with the trophy at the end of the year, with Stuart Scott passing me boy the trophy. You know what I'm saying? Card.
For sure.
But there's not much I could really say, man. Like, I really can't. I had a great rookie year. I came in shape. I had to earn the job. Buddy Ryan was the head coach. I had to earn it. I had to prove that I was worthy of it. And at that, in the stages that we were in as an offense and the stuff we was going through, I think our offense coordinator was Ted Plum, and the following year was Jim Fossil. And so you just got to look at, like, the process of us trying to become a team. Man, I gave my life to Christ, man, and my off the field was peaceful. My on the field was everything I wanted to be. I got a chance to meet my idols. One of my best catches was against Darryl Green, and it was in the north end zone at Sun Devil Stadium. I ran a bang 8. I was on the 12-yard line. I dove and caught the ball. Man, I thought I was in for the end zone. They put me on the 1. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I saw Albert Bell. I saw Albert Lewis. I saw, I got a chance to play against Junior Seau. I saw Barry Sanders play football in the Dome. Like, I got so many great memories of my rookie year. But if you're a rookie and you're coming into the NFL, I'd say, man, you got to enjoy all the moments, but you got to come ready to work. Like, you got to be in shape. You got to be mentally trying to take that job and earn the respect of the players that's there and the guys that have gone before you. Like, that's what's important. You got to put yourself in the mindset that this is the job. You're playing against your idols, but you got to earn their respect. It's not just given to you.
For sure.
Yeah. Some people say that the state of rookies today is much different than it was. Do you feel like some of the rookies in this generation are just missing that work ethic, that they feel like I've arrived and I deserve? Is it more of an entitlement now? That's the debate, at least.
Well, I mean, I would say that the rookies, they come in different though. Like they come in with money. They come in rich. They don't come in hungry. They don't have to come in hungry. You get 2-3 years of college right now, and you're getting NIL money. So that changes the narrative on how you perceive it. But I will say this though, a lot of the kids play a lot of football. Like they've added games to their seasons, even from a college perspective. They've added more bowl games. They've added the bowl series. They've added, a lot of stuff. So they're playing more football. A lot of the high school kids or kids coming through, they're going through 7-on-7s and 7-on-7s and camp after camp after camp. They're befriending everybody. There's no like non-friends. They're friends. Like, and so there's like my adversary, my enemy. I can name the name of the receivers. I just gave them to you that got drafted before me. So you thought I was trying to let them become the rookie of the year? No. No. So you mean so my mindset is different. And so that's one. But two, the guys come in with money. So there's a difference. Like if I get cut, well, I got $4 or $5 million in the bank. Well, I still got $1 million in the bank, and I'm still 18, 19. I'm 24, 25. Like I got money in the bank. So their mindset is different. I don't believe that that they have a lax mindset. I believe they have the mindset that there's no real consequences to if they come in disrespectful. Back then, there was a hazing process. There was a respect process that allowed you to respect your elders. And these guys don't have to have that now. It's a little different. And so they get coddled a little different. I can't be mad at the system. They practice differently. They get way more money now than we got back then. And their lifestyles are in a public forum all day long, and they have more avenues to receive money. And so these kids are different because they don't have to do it the same way that we did it. It's like a dad walking out there. James, it's like you trying to teach your son how to fix the carburetor. And he's like, Dad, I don't even have an engine. What is those spark plugs? I don't even have an engine. So like they don't think the same. They don't value it the same. They got digital money like this right here. Podcasting can pay you a good salary, and it's like, what about school again? I'm sorry. What'd you say? I'm sorry. What? Like it don't. So their mindsets are different, and I respect that. I respect it 100%. But the process of the football is football. There's guys out there with bad intentions, and when you have a lot of good talent, you want to try to maximize your talent. You don't want your career to be cut short like T.O. Unfortunately, I got to use a Hall of Famer's name, but that Hall of Famer could have had easy 3 more years if he, just him in the media and other things would have got along with. Chad Ochocinco, a lot of things. Dez Bryant, guys like that just, mouths kind of sometimes got him in situations. And that's just a couple. That's in my particular field as the doctor of route running or professor in the NFL of receivers. My colleagues they were great. Like I love Chad Ochocinco. I love T.O. I love my boy Dez Bryant. They're like savants at what they do. But sometimes the scenarios, didn't allow them to maximize their moments, like a Larry Fitzgerald or Anquan Bolden. Those guys are able to maximize their moments to the fullest.
For sure. Also, I did want to ask, who was the toughest defensive back, or like what matchup did you love, or I'm not going to say hate, but who was the one that like gave you problems? Well, not problems, but who's the one that like you disliked, I'd say?
I would say, the NFL has, depending on the team and their goals on what they wanted to do, based upon the defensive back. So back in the days, Troy Vincent and Bobby Jones, those guys were with Philadelphia Eagles. Felipe Sparks, the hometown boy, was over in New York with Jason Sehorn. They had a great defense of Michael Strahan at that time. Darryl Green was always he just was a solid, smooth cover. Like, I ran great routes against him. I was a mixed match against him size-wise, but if I caught it, I was getting tackled immediately. There was no outrunning him or getting away at all. Deion Sanders, we never threw the ball to him.
That's a real thing. The legend
that's a really real thing. Like, no, we're not. He's on the left. We're not going left. We did that a couple of times, man. You go back and watch film when we played Dallas here, and Jake tried to get cute with him, and he let Rob run a slant the first time, and he caught it. Mm-hmm. And then the second half, he came back and tried to run the same. Jake came back and called the same audible, red 80, check, blue 59, blue 59. And next thing you know, Deion was going back the other way with the ball for a touchdown, and he gave you the knee, hand, to the knees and the arms up to Jesus. So it was like, it happened like I didn't like James Hasty, but he was my best competition. James Hasty was an old school Kansas City Chiefs guy that just had he was a vet. Mm-hmm. He was a vet. When I say that out of respect. He was a vet. Like, I don't care what you doing, rookie. I ain't taking it. I couldn't give him the wiggle off the line. I couldn't give him the hop, jump. He was like, I ain't moving. Come on. Come see your boy. Like, that was James Hasty. Chris Dishman, back in the days with the Houston Oilers back in that time. Those guys were like really, really just savvy, schooled defensive backs, man. You know what I mean? So, like, I didn't have problems with guys. I just had to respect them. And I had to learn what they would let me do and what they wouldn't let me do. And based upon that is how I had to earn their respect. So then next year, I'd run a route against Deion. He'd be like, hey, man, good route, Frank. He called my name. Okay, all right, I'm going to come back and give him another good route. You know what I mean? Like that. And then it turned the same way with Darryl Green. Good catch, Frank. Oh, Darryl Green know my name. Okay, let's go on out there and catch us against Darryl Green. And so there was those kind of things, man. But there's nobody was ugly. Nobody was nasty. Everybody respected you. I just had to earn it. And once I earned it, then it was competition as usual. They just knew they had to respect me for what I brought to the table, and then I had to respect them for what I knew that they was capable of doing if I messed up.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for taking time with us, Frank. I did want to give you some time to talk about how are you staying involved in the community? Are there causes that you're passionate about? Why don't you share with us maybe how can we get involved? Something like that.
Well, I mean, like, so when you look at my off the field behaviors, I am one who says, when I say yes, my yeses are my yeses and my no's are my no's. I'm one of the guys who never developed a foundation because at the time the Cardinals we had so many guys who had foundations and I was still a rookie. And so I just believe God gave me a good name. So I try to use that for good. I'm married to golf. So if you got a charity golf event you want me to get involved in, send a DM or something like that. See, I'll do my best if I can make it. If I can, I'll come out and try to support it. Hopefully that will help raise more money on that behalf. I support Phoenix. I support Phoenix Children's Hospital. I'm in a ton of cancer events that I support, whether that be prostate cancer for men. That is the Jerry Colangelo tournament. They do a wonderful job in the Jerry Colangelo tournament from that standpoint. The NFL and what we do with Michael Bankston as the NFL PAA president. Jerome Daniels is another one of the guys on the boards. Jameer Miller, former linebacker for the Cardinals. We have a ton of guys out here that keeps me involved in a lot of stuff. And that's from kids camps. We just did a kids camp, football camp, not that far from Tempe High with Mikey's League. And that was just kids who have disabilities. But they came out and ran football. They did a football drills. They did a football camp. That was exciting. So there's not many things I want to do. I just try to stay busy. Using the name that God gave me, and I try to keep it good for those purposes. And I think that, for anything else I get involved in, there's Elevate Phoenix. That's a wonderful program that I love to support out here in Phoenix. Tom Lehman, the golfer, the PGA golfer, he actually is one of the guys that spearhead that. But it's based here in Phoenix, right there in Midtown. And I go out and we do speaking engagements. We shake hands. We try to empower and encourage kids. God gave me a gift of encouragement, and that's what I try to use all the time. So when you hear me speak, I speak encouraging words. I'm not negative. I always believe the best in you. I believe the best can be in you. I believe if you just get exposed to hear the right things, then some things in life will stick. And I always say, chew the meat, spit out the bones. Whatever's good, chew on it. Whatever's bad, spit it out. That way you can kind of, find your way through this thing called life, because not everybody brings meat. Some people bring bones all day long, and it's nasty. They choke you out. They make you feel like it's horrible. So they try to make you feel bad. Well, chew the meat, spit out the bones, and, move yourself through life where you find yourself trying to accomplish the goals and your own desires.
That is such good advice. And men out there, be sure to check out NFL's Crucial Catch. They have a risk factor assessment that you can take online to find out what your risk may be. But regardless, prostate cancer is rampant amongst men, especially men of color. I learned at the last event. So be sure that you're out there getting your checkups.
No, that's well said right there. Well said.
Okay, well, that's about it, Frank. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun.
Awesome.
James, do you have any parting words for
That was
Frank?
awesome. That was awesome. I feel I just learned so much
Right?
from this 30-minute convo. My mind is blown, and just being able to talk to a former football player, former Cardinals legend, where it's awesome. It's awesome.
Thank you, man.
I was
Appreciate
nervous
that,
this
man.
whole week. I was like, oh shit.
Really?
Like, what am I gonna ask him? What am I gonna do? But no, thank you. It was great.
Let's catch up, man. We can do it again.
Okay.
Thank you so much. This was amazing.
All right.
Have a great day, Frank. Bye.
You too.
Well, that's about it, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Told you guys it was gonna be a good one. Shout out Mr. Frank Sanders. It was great talking to him. Make sure to follow Sick Podcast AZ Cards on X. It was great. Make sure you like, subscribe. We'll be back next week.
See you then.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Cardinals Connection on YouTube, X, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.